And now I'm going to tell you one little story before we present Anna. Over a year ago, or maybe more, because I kind of kept lost track of time, UPC University and Sonar, we partnered up together to organize the AI and Music Starts Festival. And for this festival, we made 3 co-creations in which we worked together with the engineers and the scientists and the researchers from the university and artists to create a series of works. One of the projects that we did for this festival, it was by researchers from UPC University working with computer vision and also, of course, with artificial intelligence. And the show, it consisted in creating some kind of an artificial dance ensemble. And the work united a dancer dancing with her body, music, computer vision, machine learning, different flavors of artificial intelligence, and lots of imagination. So please welcome Ana Diaz from the studio Hamill Industries.
Thank you. Hello. As everyone said, like 7 minutes to explain what we do, it's quite difficult. But we're called Hamill Industries. We're a creative studio. We are not an industry. In fact, we're a studio of 2 people only. But we like to call ourselves like this because we do work a lot with technology. And when we would say technology, that applies to a hammer in order to create like handcrafted things, to digital tools such as machine learning, robotics, and any sort, like of digital input or imprints or workflows. Our main idea in the studio is to work from tangible to digital realms. So we work a lot with digital workflows that come from architecture, from video workflows, but then we try to visualize this in the reality and make it tangible. And one of our main inspirations is always sound. So we work a lot with sound and nature and making invisible, making visible like the invisible forces of nature through light, through smoke, and through many, many kinds of devices. So here you have some images of some of the works that we've done. But as I said, when we work with different tools and we work with different technologies, technology is always at the center, at the core of the stories or the scenographies of the music videos of the projects that we create. It's not only the excuse to do things, but it's also like in the middle of the narrative and the story that we do. So I'm going to talk about this project called AI Transmutations. Antonia did a very nice presentation about this work, and we call it the Posthuman Dance Ensemble. So together with UPC, with Javier Ruiz, Stefano Rosso, and Martí de Castro, who is around here, so we're going to ask him some stuff. He's a very good engineer and help us develop this. We created, and together with Kiani Del Valle, a dancer and a choreographer from Puerto Rico, we wanted to create a project in which AI, machine learning, would enable us to represent different beings, different bodies. So these are some interviews. Well,
we intend to do a sort of artificial intelligence ensemble. And the main idea here was to embody the experience of other beings in the world through the movement, through the body of a dancer.
The main ingredients, I would say, is the machine learning, the AI, how that connects to movement. And for me, as a choreographer and performer, there's an element of performance and sensibility and energy that goes beyond dance. It's sort of like method acting, how this AI makes you feel, what provokes in you emotionally.
It's a system that has learned how an animal looks, no? So it's able to create images of that animal. The system has seen images of the dancer dancing, and the movement of the dancer is linked to the creation of these images. No?
These organisms are morphing or expanding when my body expands or when my body shrinks.
For us, it was really interesting to use artificial intelligence because it could reach visual expressions that we are not capable to do yet.
So as I said here, we use machine learning to vertebrate like the story and the concept of this AI ensemble that we created. And to do that, we use two different algorithms. On the one hand, we use one to understand the human pose. So we recorded Kiani sessions and hours of recording in order to get data and use this data and transfer it to these visual models that we were creating so they could dance along Kiani in a live performance. And then we created these models, the visual models, using, at that point, style gun, okay? So this is how OpenPose operates, more or less. Like, we can capture like the movements, and it understands like all this data that comes across like Kiani dancing. And then the generation of visual models through StyleGAN, what we did is we curated our own data set, and we created different models of organisms that can move and expand. So what we would do is use all the data that we took with OpenPose and navigate inside these models with this data that Kiani was doing. So when she was moving an arm, then these models would move alongside Kiani. But we also wanted to push a little bit farther because we use images of existing organisms. We use like pictures of Kiani as well in order to create a model of hers. But we wanted to create new hybrid forms of life that could dance along Kiani, not only existing forms of life. We wanted to see what the machine learning was capable to imagine if we were combining those models. So that was very interesting to use it in a way that was unexpected, because obviously we're confusing the machine because we were saying, let's do a human, but we are also going to put like some pictures of a jellyfish, and let's see what and see what comes out of this formula. So I want to show you just a little bit of one of the results. This is part of the show. This is part of the visuals of the show. This was part of the story at the beginning when the AI, Kiani, is dancing. So the AI is like processing how Kiani is dancing and trying to understand how a human body looks like. It's trying to draw a human body. So I don't know if you are familiar with this, but we have what we call epochs. And according to the algorithm, the more epochs we go through, the more the algorithm knows how to draw, in this case in StyleGAN. So in this particular video, what we can see is how the algorithm learns throughout these epochs how to draw a human being. And in the point in the story in which life, Kiani then would start interact with this being. When doing this, we encounter different problems. Like the most basic problem is that we are not capable to do this in real time yet, but it's very interesting to see this project as a form of life in itself, because as machine learning is going just like be like deeper and deeper, and we're having like more and more tools to do that, also computers are more able to, like, to do render and to be able to allow the renders happen. So, well, here you have a little bit of a summary of the last performance we did at Sonar. Here you can have a bigger vision, or like some hints of how it looked like live when we were performing. So you can see Kiani dancing and like some landscapes reacting to Kiani, and how also like how these organisms react to Kiani's movement. So we understand this project as a being in itself, and that still has many, many future, I think, aspects that we can implement. The first of all, and one thing I want to overlay and that I take from this experience that we have, is the fact that now we tend to think that artist doesn't have anything else to offer to the creativity when using algorithms that create or generate visuals. And I want to say that in my experience, this is completely wrong, at least from my experience, because in our case, AI allow us to create data sets that were curated by us with our own images, so we could expand the imagination. So instead of being something that substituted, that was a substitution of creativity, it was an enabler of our creativity. And the second thing, the possibilities of the future, not only in how we can implement this in a live performance and use music as well to vertebrate all the elements, but also how this collaborative essence has put together not only us as a as the artist doing that, but also has forced us to work directly with UPC engineers and has forced us to work as well with choreographers and musicians, and how we started a conversation in which we had to challenge each other's workflow in order to create the tools, in order to make this able. So if there is something I want to say maybe in this talk, and I'm going to finish because the 7 minutes are out, is that the future I imagine in Metaverse is a future where we collaborate, and I collaborate not only with the technology, but with the people around the technology and the artists behind the ideas. So thank you very much, and if you have any questions, good.
Super. Thank you very much, Anna. So at the beginning of the session, we were thinking about, or we were making questions that I'm not sure if we found the right answers. It's what's the art of science and what's the science of art? I don't think that there aren't any wrong or right questions, but hopefully all the presentations that you've seen today were exciting, inspiring, I don't know, that you had fun. So this should be time for the open conversation, but you know, time flies and we have to wrap up. And we think that the conversation between science and art has already taken place on stage. So I want to thank each of you for being here today, for listening, for having your eyes open. And now I want to thank PuzzleX for the opportunity to make this session possible. I'd love to acknowledge also to Quantinum for supporting also this session. And also, before saying goodbye, tell you that you are invited to the Smart City reception outside, so you can have some drinks and to toast. And so, thank you very much, and see you very soon. Thanks.